Football season in Europe with soccer kicks off this month. And of course, football season in America with the NFL is around the corner. And Carmine Bianco has a great deal up at WagerTalk. Get all of Carmine's soccer and NFL plays through the end of 2021 for only $6.99. This package is normally priced at $13.99, but is available for a limited time at this special price to lock in football in the eyes of both Europe and the US. Carmine is off to another winning year in soccer and is looking to close out the year with a profitable run in soccer and football. Join him now at WagerTalk.com with this special package before it goes back to regular price.
Hey guys, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Carmine Bianco, WagerTalk.com with a World Cup qualifying edition of Stoppage Time. Only one show this week, but we are going to cover 4 games being played across the Wednesday and Thursday cards in Europe. It is the 3rd and 4th rounds of World Cup qualifying. Yes, the Euros just finished, but the World Cup is next November and December in Qatar. And qualifying is going on. So we're going to cover 4 big games across Europe: Portugal, Ireland, Hungary, England, Italy, Bulgaria, and Sweden and Spain. Some big names there. And we're going to cover how to attack these games. With me to talk about these games from WagerTalk.com, it's Kevin Dolan and Nick Borrman. And from SportsMemo, who is also the $2 capper at SportsMemo, it's Pavlos Laguretos. You can catch them later on today on Wager Talk today at noon on Wager Talk TV. Kev, I'm going to bring you in first. 2 very good 5% winners on the weekend, my friend.
Yeah, it was, Carmine, and I'm actually glad here to say we returned to international football as well. You know, I like that we change up and pace throughout the year from club football, even though we just had the Euros. But yeah, nice weekend, as you said. Fantastic Saturday. Was up over 12 units in soccer, and then that followed up with a 5% winner on United on Sunday. So yeah, we're rolling right now across the board. European qualifier play posted up for tomorrow as well. So, you know, looking forward to taking that form right into this week's qualification games as well and breaking down some of these games on today's show.
All right, good to hear. Nick, you look well rested, my friend. Do you have that new addition to the family on proper sleep times, or what's going on?
Not yet, but we're getting closer. We're getting 3-hour spurts now instead of, hour and a half, 2. So it's getting a little better. Another couple of weeks, hopefully I'll be getting through most of the night. But all is good there, and all is good on the handicapping side. I got the last golf tournament of this season going this week, the Tour Championship, and of course some U.S. Open action, as well as I know you have, Carm, for the next 2 weeks in tennis. And then international soccer is definitely my favorite, so I can't wait for the next 6-7 days of qualifiers coming up.
Yeah, Nick, I don't know how you're getting any sleep whatsoever between the little one and then, yes, U.S. Open is on, golf tournament, a lot of capping for you to break down those ones. And then, of course, European soccer. So it's a lot going on, I'm pretty sure, in the Borrman household. Mr. $2 Tuesday, Pavlos Laguretos, my friend, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Coming off a pretty solid weekend. I had a 10%. My max play of the month was a win on Sunday, plus money too. I'm super excited for the upcoming national teams, the qualifiers. I have a 5% up. It's also a $2 play, so you can get it at my page at SportsMemo for just $2. I'm also going to have a card for each and every day of these qualifiers. I love a lot of plays, a lot of props, a lot of totals, some side bets. I'm 9-3 in side bets in all of August. So I'm looking to bring that momentum over to September with the European basketball also kicking off in about 3 weeks. So it's going to be a super exciting September for me and for everyone involved. So yeah, let's talk some soccer now.
All right, yes, and let's talk some soccer. And guys, if you're heading over to WagerTalk.com or SportsMemo and you're going to buy the packages that these guys already have loaded, don't. And the reason is, after this preview, I am going to give you a coupon code to get 7 days of soccer, all access soccer, for only $49. That's literally the less than the price of 2 packages, daily packages. So hang tight after this game. because I got to get the Irishman in on this one. So we're going to go to the very first game, Portugal and Ireland. The line here, Portugal minus 420. The draw is plus 530. Ireland plus 1,300. The goal lines here, guys, on this game, that's probably where we're going to look at on these are minus 1.5 for Portugal, plus 1.5 for Ireland, and the total is 2.5. Kev, let's look at this group. Obviously, Portugal and Serbia sit atop the group with 7 points, having played 3 each. You look at Ireland, and while they were thought to vie for second spot with Serbia, that took a massive hit when they lost 1-0 at home to Luxembourg. They still have 6 games to play, but they'll have to take points off of Portugal at some point over their 2 meetings at the very least. Kev, give me your thoughts on this one, and then I'll give my thoughts on this game.
Well, I'm trying to find some positives here, to be honest. And I think we can forget about going to the World Cup, to be honest. Didn't want to go to Qatar anyway. It's too hot. So that worked out well. But, I will say one thing. Look, I was quite impressed with Ireland's display against Hungary the week before the Euros kicked off back in June. As you said, we did have a really tough start to this qualification campaign. Lost to Serbia, although a great game. And just a flat out embarrassing result against Luxembourg to follow that one up. And I thought, in fairness, as I said, Ireland did look a lot better in those 2 most recent games of theirs, but especially against Hungary in that friendly back in June. The game was in Budapest. There was fans in the stands. Hungary were firm pre-match favourites in that one as well. And they were fielding a full-strength squad heading into the Euros. And I thought Ireland played really well for the most part. I thought Kevin Kelleher in particular in nets was absolutely fantastic for us. He was just a one-man wall against the Hungarians. And, on the other end, Ireland did create some chances of their own. So, when we look at what Hungary went on to do in that tournament, they held Portugal scoreless for 85 plus minutes. They held France to a draw. They almost beat Germany as well. You could be forgiven for being cautiously optimistic here about what Stephen Kenny is trying to do. Unfortunately, though, look, we know the giant elephant in the room is obviously he simply doesn't have the players to play that brand of attacking, kind of daring football that he promised at the start. There were signs, at least to me, against Andorra. Obviously, a team a long way off from the likes of Portugal. But, there were signs, at least, that the wheel is, at last beginning to turn for this team slowly. Troy Parrott, the young Tottenham loanee, was absolutely electric in that game, bagged 2 goals in 3 minutes just after the half. So, potentially we do have some young players that could cause headaches for Portugal here. But, saying that, Ireland haven't won any of their last 18 games when installed as pre-match outsiders. So I think you can keep your money in your pocket for this one if you're looking to back the Irish here. But I'll be more than happy to be proven wrong, obviously. The total in this game looks tricky to me at 2.5, only for the fact that 76.74% of all Ireland's matches since 2017 have gone under the total. But when you factor in Cristiano Ronaldo looking to potentially make history here tomorrow, becoming the world's highest international goal scorer, especially at the position he plays in now as well, he's almost in a central striker role these days. It's very difficult not to see him bag at least 1 goal here tomorrow night. And to be honest, that's arguably one of my favourite bets for this game as well. Ronaldo to be anytime goal scorer at minus 163. It is a little high, obviously, but, for obvious reasons. So, look, I'll obviously be busting out the Murphy Stout tomorrow night in my end and cheering on the lads. But in all honesty, while I've been slightly more impressed with how Ireland have played lately, this is a work-in-progress team going up against an obviously elite world-class outfit here. So I can't see anything other than a Portuguese win. 2-0 correct scores going off at a criminally low plus 400 right now. That shows you where the bookies' heads are at for this one. To be honest, I'm fully in agreement with that scoreline as well. Definitely seems the most probable scoreline to me. But yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo to get in the score sheet here, minus 163. That's definitely one of the plays I'm looking at for tomorrow night.
All right, Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com with his thoughts on his home team, Ireland, with the trip to Portugal. My thoughts on this, and it's simple and straightforward. First of all, my thoughts are I'm not really sure how Ireland manager Kenny still has a job or who he has photos of to still have that job. He secured 1 win in his last 13 games, and that was a 4-1 win over Andorra. And yeah, they did look good in their last game, but this is a tough spot for them heading to Portugal. They'll be playing in a stadium filled with fans. And, Kev did talk about the fact that, While the attention was on Ronaldo and obviously the move that he's making now to Manchester United, they've got 2 games where a win here and then a win next Tuesday against Azerbaijan literally puts them into the World Cup for the 6th consecutive time. This gives the team an opportunity to obviously to mix in some youth in their remaining games. This is one of those games where I think you have to look at the goal line. You have to take the 1.5 here. And if you're looking at exact scores, the Portugal 3-0 plus 550, even the Portugal 4-0. I know the Ireland games aren't high scoring games, but plus 900 on the 4-0 looks attractive. But that 3-0 plus 550 does look like something I would likely take. So it's Portugal here on the handicap line of minus 1.5 for me. All right, guys, promo for you guys. I mentioned it just before this game. You can get 7 days from your favorite capper, one of the guys on the show, for only $49 when you use the coupon code WC20. WC20 will get you $20 off the $69 price. And that's less than, like I said, it's less than 2 full packages. And the guys are going to have a 5% play up somewhere along the line. So those plays normally go for $35. So why not get 7 days and get a bunch of qualifiers that will take you through to next week? All right, guys, let's look at game number 2, Hungary and England. Line here, Hungary plus 750 at home. The draw is plus 335. England minus 225. The goal lines here are England are minus 1.25, which is a split line of 1.5, with Hungary at plus 1.5. The total here is 2.5. Nick and Pavlos are going to preview this game, but just a quick overview of this Group I. England's at the top of it with a perfect 3-0 record. They've just been playing extremely well, going right back to the Euros. We know what they did there. Hungary sit right behind them, surprisingly, 7 points through 3 games, and they are the group's top scoring team right now with 10 goals, Nick, thus far across 3 games, scoring at least 3 goals in each of their 3 games. Can they find the back of the net against the 3 Lions?
Yeah, Hungary are definitely an underrated team. Obviously, no question here that England is the better side. So close at the Euros, falling in penalty kicks in the final to Italy. But they played fantastic the whole tournament. They had the lowest expected goals allowed of all 24 teams at just 0.76. So their defense is what got them there. And I think that's going to be the key to this game here. Hungary, they surprised many with their results. I mean, they were given absolutely no chance out of the group of death, but they had their chance to progress. They were in the round of 16 until the 84th minute goal by Goretzka for Germany saw their match into a draw instead of a win for Hungary, which would have got them in. So, they were close and nobody really gave them a chance, but it proves that this team has quality on it and can really, when they know what they have to do, which is, against these big teams, they gotta push for a goal and then hope for the best. In this type of a situation here, breaking down England's going to be very, very difficult. They're the player. I mean, if you look at the roster, it's just head and shoulders above what you're going to see on this Hungary side. And I believe England's going to get the result here, but on the road, laying a full goal, I don't see a ton of value there. I think, this very well could be a 1-0 type of a win, maybe a 2-1 type of a win. So I don't see a ton of value in laying the goal on England. I see it as a tougher game for them to go in and just, win by 2-3 goals. But I do believe they're going to win. And because of how good England's defense has, the idea of taking England to win and pairing that with you can buy up to 3.5 goals, and that combination is around the minus 120 range. So England and under 3.5 goals. Hungary for them, you already mentioned it, Carm. They're sitting second in the group, and that's very important. They're ahead of Poland right now, and the second place teams still have a chance to get into World Cup qualifying with a knockout style tournament for all second place teams. So keeping this, to a very low scoring game and a goal differential as being the tiebreaker in the group, it's very important to keep this thing close. So Hungary, if they're down by a goal and they lose by a goal, it's not the end of the world for them. So I see them really trying to keep this thing tight, sit back, don't let England, go. I wouldn't even be surprised to see Hungary trailing late in the game and not really truly pushing the issue to try to get a result, even though of course they would want to. I don't see them taking unnecessary risks because I think the goal differential here is probably more important than the actual results. Not to say if the opportunity is there, they won't take it. But anyway, England to win and under 3.5 goals as a combo, -120, I think is a great way to play this match.
All right, Nick Borrman of WagerTalk.com. Pavlos, give me your thoughts on this game. Lane more than a goal. Listen, I feel, and I have to agree with Nick, England is the better side here, but they are on the road. And Lane more than a goal. We saw in the Euros, they're playing a different style of football now. You look at their games: 1-0 over Croatia, scoreless draw against Scotland, a 1-0 win over the Czech Republic, where I think their expected goals in the second half was 0.0. They didn't actually have a shot on goal. A 2-1 extra time win over Denmark. So they're not winning the way we're used to the Three Lions winning, which was those 3-0, 4-0 type games. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I don't really trust England in this one. Laying 1.25 goals, I just don't like it. What I do like actually is the over here, and the reason is that Hungary, they're used to being the underdogs, and they caused a couple of upsets in the Euros. They held out for a couple of draws against Germany and France, which are two of the world's best teams. They did lose to Portugal by 3-0 in the opener, and they did so without their best player. There's a guy called Dominic Soboslai. He's one of the many Salais or whatever in that squad. The guy is a creative midfielder coming from Red Bull Salzburg, I believe. He was transferred to Red Bull Leipzig last season, but he had a tough injury and he was left out of the Euros, which goes to show that Hungary, they did a great job, offensively at least, even without him. But he's now healthy. He's back. He scored twice in a Bundesliga match a couple of weeks ago against Stuttgart. He helped Red Bull Leipzig grab a 4-0 win. He's a really talented player, a really good player. He's a set piece specialist. He can score from direct free kicks. So I think that Hungary will make things tough for England. Of course, Hungary can be a really tough nut to crack, especially on the defense. They have a great set of defenders and a really solid goalkeeper. And England, Nick said it. They were excellent in the Euros. They have, they've shifted all their focus to the defense. They're playing really good defense. They've only conceded a couple of goals in the Euros. But I seriously think that this is going to be an over match. Maybe the over 2.25 goals for some extra safety. But I like the over 2.5 goals at +105. Keep in mind that Hungary, they've only lost to Portugal in their last 12 competitive matches. They have 6 wins. 1 loss and 5 draws. Of course, most of these wins are against Andorra, San Marino. But they've also played well against teams like Turkey, Serbia. Of course, they're not in England's caliber, but they're still very good teams, and I might say better than Hungary. So they like being the underdogs, and I truly believe that we'll see a high-scoring match here. So something like a 1-2 England win. But I seriously like the over 2.5 goals here.
All right, that's Pavlos Laguretos of SportsMemo. He is the $2 capper today at SportsMemo. And speaking of $2 cappers, obviously it's $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and SportsMemo. It's when you can get a featured capper's top play for only $2. And along with that play, there are some great deals within the analysis section. Over at WagerTalk.com, it's Dave Koken. Dave has a college football play up. Dave, absolutely fantastic in college football, profitable each and every year. You can get his play for only $2. And of course, as we spoke about earlier, Pavlos Laguretos with a play up at SportsMemo. It is a World Cup qualifier play, and you can get that for only $2. So head over to WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo to pick up those plays. All right, guys, the game I'm looking forward to watching, the third game we're going to cover today, Italy and Bulgaria. Yes, Italy are a big favorite at -1,000. The draw +980. Bulgaria is almost 30-1 in this game. But we're going to look at the goal lines here. Italy is -2.5 goals. Bulgaria +2.5 goals. The total here is 3 right now, and it looks like it's going to go to 3.25 shortly. Pavlos, you and I are going to break this game down, but let me look at it first. Group C action, obviously. Italy resumes qualifying. They're 3-0 thus far with 3 2-0 victories. And this team hasn't lost in 34 games, dating back to just before the World Cup, where they lost a game to France. We know that they are now the defending Euro champions. Let's look at the handicap here. And I'm going to give my opinion on this one first, and I'm going to throw it to you, Pavlos. My thoughts are this. I'm looking forward to this game for a couple reasons. Obviously, I want to see if this team can pick up right where they left off. It's been 6 or 7 weeks. Do they have that hangover that hit teams after winning a championship, whether it's domestic or whether it's international, where they struggle in their first couple of games? I don't think so. I think it's a new era of football in Italy with Roberto Mancini. They're unbeaten in 9 games against this Bulgaria team. 6 of those are wins. I'm looking forward to seeing Nicolo Zanola returning to the lineup. He didn't play in the Euros. He tore an ACL. He will see some action over their next couple of games. This is one of those ones where I still don't see a lot of goals in it, Pavlos. I'm looking at, something, the reverse fixture in Bulgaria was 2-0. I'm looking at a similar scoreline. This looks like a game where it's 2-0 or 3-0 Italy. And that leads me to think that I'm going to wait closer to game time, wait for that total to hit 3.25, wait for the Wednesday games to end, and people to start betting the Thursday games and start betting on Italy because they are a 2.5 goal favorite. And then I'm going to hit the under. If it hits 3.25, I'll take the under 3.25. That's the way how I'm going to approach this game. Pavlos, I'm going to get your thoughts. I'm going to ask you one question, though. The last time, I'm not sure you remember this player, you might. The last time Bulgaria beat Italy, Risto Stojkovic, if I pronounce that right. Stoikov,
Yeah.
Risto Stoikov hit the back of the net for the Bulgarians.
Yeah, he's. I think he's Bulgaria's most legendary player who was great in the 60s, I believe, or 80s. Uh, I can't remember how far back was it, but he's one of the players that we remember from from our fathers when they talked about soccer. So yeah, I absolutely agree with the 2-0 scoreline. I absolutely agree with the under. Italy, if you bet Italy to win an under 3.5 goals all the way in the last couple of seasons, I mean, you'd be a millionaire by now. Bulgaria, they're not terrible, but they're not good either. They have won just one of their last 21 competitive matches. They have 1 win, 12 losses, and 8 draws. And 10 of their last 11 matches had under 3.5 goals. So 3 goals or less. And when you look at Italy, each of their last 16 matches, they produced under 3.5 goals. They kept 9 clean sheets in their last 11, but none in their last 3, of course. These 3 matches were in the Euros. And this is going to be a match where Italy have the ball a lot and they try to attack as much as possible, while also being very careful at the back. And that's something that we were used to seeing from Italy in earlier years. But now they also play very good offense. So yeah, the way I look at this, we don't expect to see a lot of goals. Italy, they have 3 wins so far in the group. All 3 wins came by the exact same score of 2-0. So if you like 2-0 here, it's about plus 450. Same with 3-0, and that's also a couple of correct scores that I had marked down prior to our discussion. So we totally agree here. I also love the under 3 goals. Maybe if you play the under 3, it's a push. But if you wait for the under 3.25, it's also something. It's a great bet. But I think Italy to win and under 3.5 goals, the price is not great, minus 145 or minus 150 ish. Not a great price, but I think it's a very possible outcome if you want to parlay it with something else. But yeah, I like the under here and possibly the combination.
Yeah, listen, I'm looking forward to those games, Pavlos. If they can, if they've got 3 games. Obviously, Bulgaria here. They also host Lithuania, and that's sandwiched in between a game where they'll go to Switzerland and play the Swiss side. They pick up 7 points. They've qualified for the World Cup and can start getting some more of their youth into the lineup. So that was Pavlos Laguretos, Sports Memo. He's the $2 capper today. Guys, let's go to the final game. This is Sweden and Spain. Let's look at the number here. Sweden at home plus 415. The draw is plus 275. Spain minus 139. The goal line here, Spain is 3/4 of a goal. That's -0.5 and -1. So Sweden is plus 3/4 of a goal. The total is 2.5. Kev, I'm going to go to you first on this one. I think this Group B is pretty straightforward. It looks like this is just Sweden and Spain. Who finishes first? Who finishes second? Both are going to qualify. Spain are atop with 7 points from 3 games. Sweden right behind them, 6 points, but only 2 games. So the top of the group is still open for debate.
Yeah, I fell into this trap a wee bit before where, I look at a manager tactically and go, he makes too many errors for me personally, brings on the wrong guys at the wrong times, fails to set up for teams effectively. And that's what I get from Luis Enrique here. Like Enrique, another manager we talk about in this same vein, Solskjaer, I'm just not sold on him tactically. But, as soon as you say these things, he can go to Paris, beat PSG away from home, and then he destroys Leipzig 5-0. And, you're starting to initially doubt your, those first thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong about this guy. Maybe he's not as bad as a first thought. But, as sure as the sun comes up tomorrow, give it enough time. And it does become clear as day that it's the players getting them out of these types of spots time and again, not the management. And, I found when an opposing manager, sets up to stifle these type of boys, Villarreal did it to Manchester United back in the Europa League final. This same Swedish side did it back to Spain in the Euros as well. They just look, at 6s and 7s tactically in terms of an overall game plan. Luis Enrique, as I said, fits that mold for me. Refuses to pick Real Madrid players before the Euros, look tactically defunct. Let's face it, for most of the tournament as well, against fairly weak opposition, draws against Switzerland, draws against Poland, draws against Sweden. But, like Ole, every now and again, he'll pull out that 5-0 Slovakia result, 6-0 against Germany, and you're thinking, hang on a minute. But, for that reason, I just can't back Spain here. I thought the Spanish were absolutely tremendous in that semi-final against Italy. I thought they deserved to win that game in all honesty. 16 shots to 7, 189 attacks to just 70, wave after wave of Spanish offense. I thought Pedri in particular was absolutely brilliant going down that wing. Shout out to Dani Olmo as well, who also created a ton of problems for the Italians at the back. And they were deserved winners who just didn't get the nod in the penalty shootout. But going back to that 6-0 Germany hiding back in November, that was followed up by a 1-1 draw at home against Greece in the next game. No offense, Pavlos, but they should have won that game. 5-0 against Slovakia in the final group game. Everyone's saying Spain have finally shown up to the tournament. They again followed that up by, they were hanging on for dear life against an aging Croatian side. So, every time this team looks to have turned a corner to me, they then turn around the next game and lay an egg. So, coming off that electric semi-final performance against Italy in the Euros, I'm fully expecting a similar flat spot for them here on Thursday. And, there's simply no way I can back them at this price laying a head start here. That said, I'm obviously in no particular rush to back Sweden here either, but I do think the Swedish can make life difficult for the Spanish here early. So I am attracted to that first half draw price going off of plus 125. That appeals to me the most in this one. I'll wait for confirmation lineups and so on. But, as of right now, if I'm playing this one, it's going to be that first half draw plus 125 for me on Thursday.
All right, Kevin. With some thoughts and some actionable info there. Appreciate that. Nick, I'm going to give you the final word on this game. You and I both remember these two teams meeting in round 1 of the Euros. A one-sided game where it was like 75-25 possession, 17-4 attempts on goal, and 5-0 actual shots on goal. But that game was a scoreless game and pretty frustrating to watch.
Yeah, absolutely frustrating to watch. I was on Spain in that game and couldn't believe they couldn't just get something in the back of the net. Spain, to echo Kevin's thoughts, were the only team in the entire Euros that actually outplayed Italy over 90 minutes. But they were just unable to generate that second goal, and they ultimately lost on penalties. But we saw, like you just mentioned, they struggled earlier in that tournament to get results. And actually, Sweden was the team that came out of the group as the leader. But I think this is obviously set up to be a revenge spot for Spain as they try to avenge that. So there's a fly going around me, Jesus, as they try to get past Sweden in this game. But that being said, I agree with Kevin. I think it's a very tough spot for them. I don't trust them laying a number on the road. When you look at the numbers from the Euros, Spain were number 1 in the entire tournament an expected goal differential, plus 1.61 per game. Netherlands was the second, all the way down to plus 1.18, and then Italy third at plus 1.02. So by a hefty margin, they led in chances created versus what they were allowing their opponents. But it wasn't doing them any good. The chances that the opponents did get, they were scoring. I mean, they blew 2 goal leads against Croatia and Switzerland, or not against Switzerland, but against Croatia. And it's like, how do you trust a team to do that and go into Sweden where they, are going to be, it's going to be a tough environment. I just don't like their value here at minus 150 or whatever it is to win. Sweden, I think, is the play here, catching 3/4 of a goal head start. I think they're going to give Spain some trouble. If they do lose, it's probably unlikely to be by more than a goal. So that 3/4 number is pretty good value. It's only a half loss if it is just that 1 goal loss, and of course a draw or win, and we're a full winner. So I think Sweden is the way to play this one. I think Spain's gonna, for lack of a better way to put it, choke. They already proved they couldn't win against Greece 1-1. They only beat Georgia by a 2-1 scoreline in the qualifying group. So it's not like they're going to come out here and put up a ton of goals. So I like Sweden plus 3/4 of a goal in this one.
All right, Nick Borrman at WagerTalk.com. You can get 7 days of his soccer plays or any of the other guys on this show for only $49. Use coupon code WC20 at checkout, and you'll get $20 off the $69 price, and you can get 7 days of soccer, which will take you through to next week, and a lot of these World Cup qualifiers that are going on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. So head over to WagerTalk, pick that up. And guys, don't forget, it's $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and SportsMemo. It's where you can get a featured Cappers plays for only $2. Over at WagerTalk.com, it is Dave Koken. He has a college football blowout for the weekend. You can get that for only $2, along with some great deals within his analysis section. So take advantage of that. And obviously at SportsMemo, Pavlos Laguretos, who's on our show, he'll be on Wager Talk today at noon. Head over to SportsMemo. You can pick up his, and he's got some fantastic deals inside that play as well. So pick up those plays, guys. And as always, guys, good luck with your wagers. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Would you like to bet $20 and win $100 at BetMGM regardless of your wager's outcome and get $100 in free wager bucks? Just go to wt.buzz/MGM for more details and find out if you're eligible for this amazing offer.